at Cincinnati Comic Con. Some of you may remember Miss Becky Yoakum from our show, aka Dark Ray right here. And this is our friend Chica, also known as Wonder Woman. And you guys are watching Back Issues. All right, thanks so much to Miss Becky and Chica for helping us do that intro.
Who?
Chica, the cosplayer that you just saw playing Wonder Woman.
Then.
Yeah. All right, so thanks so much. And as you guys can see, I took a little trip down to Cincinnati for the Cincinnati Comic Expo. I said down, I should say up.
Yeah, you went north.
Yeah, went up to Cincinnati for the Cincinnati Comic Expo this past weekend. Had a great time. As you can see, I reunited with our friend of the show, Miss Becky Yoakum, our first interview.
Yes.
The interview with the cosplayer episode.
To be honest, we've only had, 2 interviews, so.
Yeah, not a lot, but still. So, it was cool reuniting with her and also seeing Miss Chica again. I met her the same day I met Becky because we were all dressed up as cast members from Firefly. I was Malcolm Reynolds, Becky was Kaylee, Chica was River, and another young woman was Zoe, right? The second in command. Zoe, I think her name was. So yeah, we all got a picture together. Here's a picture right here, and saw them dressing up in their cosplay once again. Actually, when I first saw Chica earlier that day, she was wearing her Princess Leia costume, the classic one with the buns, and then I see her later on in the day, and now she's wearing Wonder Woman. So I talked to her, and she told me that she has changed cosplays as many as 7 times in one weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've done 2.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Did we replace Thor with 2 cosplayers?
Okay, you're asking. Okay, well, for this episode, yes, we did because we had
Thor. Damn.
Yeah, we had a pretty busy schedule this past week, and I had a busy schedule. I went to Cincinnati Comic Expo. Also, I went to the Louder Than Life show in Louisville. So we didn't have time to film with Thor. So Thor is sitting this week out, but he's expected to be back next week. So in addition,
you know, Thor's got more fans than we do.
Probably so, yeah.
Okay.
So in addition to meeting some cosplayers and reuniting with a few old friends, I met a couple really cool celebrities this past weekend. I met the Doc himself, Dr. Emmett Brown, Christopher Lloyd. Really sweet guy, really great, and he's seems to be in good health.
He's always going to be Jim from Taxi for me.
Okay. Also, I met Mr. Tom Arnold from True Lies and Roseanne and, lots of other stuff. He was a really cool guy to talk to. And I met Lord of the Rings alum, Mr. John Noble, who many of you know is Lord Denethor from Return of the King. It was cool talking to him. And finally, I met Superman himself, and also the Atom, depending on what your fandom is.
Let's stick with Superman.
Brandon Routh, Superman from Superman Returns, and also from the Crisis on Infinite Earths story from the CW, and he was really cool to talk to. You see the picture with me, and you see I'm wearing my shirt from Ripped Apparel, where Bill and Ted find Superman in their telephone booth. So I went up to meet Brandon, and Brandon sees my shirt, and he's like, "So what's the story going on with this shirt?" And I said, "Okay, well, Superman needs a phone booth to change into, and he sees Bill and Ted's phone booth, and he goes in to start changing, and that's when Bill and Ted come back, and they open up the door, and they see him, and they're like, 'Whoa, it's Superman! Excellent!' And then as soon as I say that, Brandon finishes with the so we had fun with that. So it was a fun weekend. So that's my recap of Cincinnati Comic Expo. When I go out of town, I don't get to, especially if I'm going for one day, I don't get to really absorb the whole convention experience because I don't get to go to the panels and I don't get to go to the costume contest because, especially last weekend, I had a lot of stuff going on. So it was all business. It was, line, say hi to, a couple cosplayers, and then, I'm out the door. So
the life of an autograph hound.
Right? So hopefully one of these days I'll get to, do a full experience with a convention that's out of town. All right, so that's my recap of this past week, and now on to some entertainment news. Well, there's really only one thing to talk about this week because
most of you already know.
Yeah, the rumors are true. It's happening. Mr. Hugh Jackman, the prodigal son, is returning to the role that made him a household name. He is to be Wolverine once more.
Now, this is per Ryan Reynolds, so you take it with a grain of salt. For one, I believe it to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because I want it to be true.
Right. So Ryan Reynolds released a video on his Twitter account, I believe, and saying that he has been working really hard. Sorry he missed D23. He's been working really hard on Deadpool 3. And, Deadpool's first foray into the MCU should be something big, right? Should be a really defining moment. And, he says he's been racking his brain trying to come up with something really big to do, and he's like, I got nothing. I mean, it's just nothing up here, and it's also terrifying. And then he says, well, we did have one idea.
And about then, Hugh Jackman walks behind him.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, Hugh, you want to be Wolverine one more time? And, he, without even slowing down, goes, yeah, sure, Ryan. And, Ryan's like, and that's where the poster comes from.
Or you could just watch the trailer on YouTube.
Yeah, you can do that too. Oh, also, I should tell you guys, I mentioned my friends Becky and Miss Chica Chica. Here's where you can find them on Instagram if you like. If you like their cosplays and you want to follow them and everything they're up to, and they got a lot of involvement in a lot of worthy causes, so be sure to check them out.
When Thor's not here, you get a little scattered.
I know, yeah. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. All right, so that covers the entertainment news. Like I said, there's only one thing to talk about, and I should probably have double check this before we start it. Yep. But it's too late to start up again. So September 6th, 2024. That's when Deadpool 3 is expected to hit theaters.
Not 23.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about it now?
Well, because he just released the video. Yeah. All right. So, with that being said, what do you say we talk comic books?
Hey, I think the name of the show is Back Issues. Mm-hmm. Even though we mostly talk about new stuff. Whatever.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, mentions.
Okay.
You gonna introduce mentions?
Okay, let's do mentions this week.
You gonna put the little things out?
Oh, right. I should probably do that.
This guy. Dog's not here. He just falls all apart. Sorry to bore you with.
Okay, here we go.
All right, mentions. You gonna explain what mentions are?
So a lot of times we have stuff that we didn't get into our top 3, but we still want to talk about them. So hence they're called mentions.
And this week it's all relatively good things.
Yeah, I kind of slammed.
You could call it honorable mentions this week.
Well, I kind of slammed something last week, and I stand by it. In case anybody's wondering. But this week it's mostly good stuff.
All right, let's start off with our old buddy Chip Zdarsky. And this is Public Domain number 4 from Image Comics.
All right, so here's a story a series we've been following for a while now and telling you guys about it. So they've come to a deal with the publishing company and the movie studio about Domain, the character comic series that the main character's dad created. And basically, they found some paperwork, or somebody found paperwork, which says that he actually owns Domain, not the movie studio. So this created a bit of a legal battle.
And this character's been in movies, TV, commercials, huge exposure, so he's worth a lot of money.
Right. Well, depending on who you are, the creator guy, he's not really concerned about money. He's more concerned about, I guess it's about legacy. It's about his own creation, and
he wants to write comics.
He wants to write comic books. So they come to an agreement that he is permitted to publish his own domain comics outside of what the publishing company and the movie studios are doing, and make it himself. And they also have to pay him a licensing fee of $1,000 a month to continue making their comic books.
That's a joke. It's ridiculously low.
And also, they are not allowed to make any other media, meaning TV shows and movies, with any future characters he creates for Domain.
They can use Domain all they wanted, and anything that they've used already.
Right.
And anything that the creator made up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
From this point on, the comic book creator can only use things that are already in his comics
Mm-hmm.
and new stuff. If the movies bring a character in that they create, the comic book guy can't use those.
Right.
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm. So, he's ecstatic because he gets to make comic books again. And the publishers, movie studios, think they got off practically scot-free.
They did.
Well, the brother of the CEO, who I think might be the other co-creator of Domain, he acts like he is. He hears the news about the deal, and hears that he can make his own comics again by himself without him, and he starts thinking like, well, what if they're good?
I think you got two different guys that you merged into one, but
Oh,
you got the general idea.
okay. So I'm hoping that we're building towards some kind of satisfaction here.
Yeah, if this doesn't have a satisfying end, I'll be real disappointed.
Like
Come on, Chip.
like he makes all the fans come back to him and they stop buying the publishing company's version of Domain, and they want to make movies off of his new stuff, and they come crawling back to him is my hope, but never know. All right, so Public Domain by Chip Zdarsky, number 4, ends up with
3.5 shields after we rounded it up.
3.5 out of 5.
All right, next up, a new comic book, also from Image. This is Creepshow, number 1.
All right. So this is, of course, based on the Creepshow TV show from the 1980s, and I think into the 90s.
Season.
Yeah. And, there's been a few comic books they've made of it in the past as well, but this is a kind of a reboot.
I think the earliest was a one-shot in 1986.
Mm-hmm. And it's got 2 stories in it, one of which, the second one is written by Paul Dini, who, you 90s kids, you might remember, is the co-creator of Batman the Animated Series and, a lot of other different stuff. So, with that being said, I kind of expected a little bit more from him, because the 2 stories in here, they're really straightforward. I mean, there's really not much to them. I mean, Ghost shows up, to take vengeance on people, and exacts vengeance, and scares some people, and basically that's it. That's all there is to it.
A good horror story doesn't have to have a plot twist.
I mean, it doesn't have to. I'm not saying a plot twist per se, but I just expected just a little bit more. So, anyways, I give Paul Dini, I would put his story a little bit better than the first one, at least.
A little bit.
Yeah. But we're going to stick with it a little bit longer, at least, because, nostalgic reasons, and also because Halloween's coming up soon, so why not? All right, so Creepshow number 1 ends up with
3 shields.
3 shields out of 5.
Now, the last mention that we're going to talk about was actually in a tie for 3rd place in the top 3. Now, normally, we would have just shown you 4 or 5, whatever comics, but when we did the tiebreaker, which was a game of Monopoly, have you ever played a game that could take that long, especially when you're playing one-on-one? EMoney won because I actually was winning, but he won because I quit. I was like, all right, this is too much. I'm done. I went to bed. So, at any rate, if you don't like the way we did this by making this comic in the mentions instead of in the top 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, blame this guy. So, moving on. Marvel's Daredevil number 3.
Okay. So this is in the aftermath of Devil's Reign, and Kingpin Wilson Fisk left in disgrace. He literally ran away, and Luke Cage is now mayor. Well, people thought that, or some people may have thought that he was just gonna, he became mayor just to get Fisk out of office and he could hand it over to somebody else, but nope. Luke says he's going to stick with it because he thinks he can do more good here than he could.
Once you got the power, you hang on to it.
Yep. Well, he talks to Daredevil about it, and they come to an agreement. And he is off to meet this couple called the Stromwinds.
They're ultra rich.
Yeah, ultra rich, and they believe that Kingpin was in their pocket during his 10 years mayor, and Daredevil warns Luke about meeting up with them and talking to them. Well, Daredevil hides himself to watch his back in the meeting, and basically these guys say, the mayor, new mayor, now works for us, and we're going to go ahead and do whatever we want. And when they start to make these thinly veiled threats, Luke, gives them one chance to, rethink what they're about to say, and that, he doesn't care that he's mayor. Well, they don't listen, and they keep talking, and Luke then smashes their probably pretty expensive table. And as he's walking out the door, I love this line. He says, "I'm not Fisk. I'm actual power. And I have friends with magic hammers." And you know what? When a guy is leaving your meeting while you are yelling after them, making threats, could be you're not the actual one in charge here. So,
money talks.
So the coolest part of the Daredevil issue wasn't from Daredevil. It was actually from Luke. So Daredevil number 3, I have it here as a mention, but you could call it our number 4 issue for this week. It comes in at
3.5.
3.5 shields out of 5.
All right, next up.
All right, now on to our top 3 this week.
The countdown. Number 3, 3, 3, 3. If you remember, Batman One Fine Day, the Riddler number 1.
One Bad Day.
Right, One Bad Day. The Riddler number 1. We raved on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, coming in at 3 this week is Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face number 1. But it's not as good as the Riddler book was.
Right. All right, so it's good stuff here, obviously, because it's
Made
in
the
our
top 3.
Yeah, it's in our top 3 spot. But in this issue, Two-Face, or Harvey Dent, has recovered. He is well again, apparently. Face is still messed up, but he has been cured, and he's Harvey again.
I mean, isn't he practicing law?
Well, that's the thing, because Mayor Nakano is talking to Harvey about becoming district attorney again.
You have to practice law to do that.
Yeah. So, Harvey comes to Batman and says that his father is celebrating his 88th birthday.
And retirement?
And also retiring. And he wants to have this big blowout party. But Harvey has intercepted a package that was sent to his dad giving a threat about the party. And he wants Batman to investigate it. Well, he says he'll look into it. And, Batman and Gordon, they both want to believe Harvey because, of course
Batman
they do.
Batman wants to believe Harvey because Bruce Wayne and Harvey were really close friends at one point.
So, he's looking at this case about from an outsider's perspective. Well, Batgirl, Stephanie Brown, goes out on patrol with him and tells him that you're not looking at this the way you should, and you're giving Harvey a lot more what's the word, leeway. Giving him a lot more leeway than you should. And so the day of the big party comes up, and things happen. I won't spoil everything for you, but things do not go as planned. So, like we said, Batman, One Bad Day, Two-Face, not quite as good as the Riddler was, but still pretty good stuff here. So it's our number 3 issue with 3.5 shields out of 5.
Next up, our old boy Gunslinger, still in all kinds of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
This is issue number 12.
All right, so this issue is mostly all action for the most part. So Gunslinger has found himself in a fight with a guy, big brute of a guy. What's his name? It's a Wonderstone, something like that. Warburton, something. Anyways, he's a guy from his past, from the 1800s, just like Gunslinger is from. And when they were human, they got into this kind of a family feud. Yeah. It was.
This guy blames Javier, which is Gunslinger, blames Javier for the death of his brothers.
Right, and his dad and his uncle and
according to Javier, they killed his family.
Winterstone, that's his name.
So Winterstone's family killed his family, so it was justified.
And they both think that they're the heroes in this story, and that the other one,
victims.
Yeah, and that the other one has to pay for his sins. Well, one of the things that is done in the fight here is,
and it's a lot of fighting.
Right, and everyone thinks that Gunslinger's power is weak compared to other spawns, and maybe he is. But one thing that he has power of that I don't think any other spawn has is the power of deception and illusion, and they don't do that a lot. I mean, this is kind of the first time hearing about it, and he actually plays it up pretty well in this story. So pretty good storytelling, and of course the artwork in Gunslinger is always top notch. So
anybody who works for McFarlane better be top notch.
So I just now realized that they give away the twist about the deception in the cover here with the other side of the face. Just now noticed that. All right, so Gunslinger Spawn at number 12 ends up at our number 2 spot with
4 shields.
4 shields out of 5. All right, next up,
a new book, also from Image, written by Donny Cates.
All right, so brand new story here, so it's kind of hard to describe this and sum it up in a few words.
It's a complicated story.
Oh, yeah. All right, so you've got this guy who, when we first see him, he's a grown man, but then we see a couple flashback scenes where he's actually not from our world or not from Earth. And
it could be Earth. It's another parallel dimension, maybe.
I guess.
It's not Earth.
Okay, so he is from the Mistlands of Everkeep, is what it's called. And it's sort of a industrial meets fantasy world kind of world. And he is a recruit in this magic school, but it ain't Hogwarts.
No, these guys are being trained to be soldiers.
Yeah, and they're basically being trained in a war that up until now they had nothing to do with. So a former student comes to the school, and the headmaster and the former student, definitely kind of feels like a, Dumbledore-Voldemort sort of relationship. And, they fight, and then it becomes this kid, the chosen one, to fight the bad guy, and he's got all of his acolytes with him. And after the kid takes care of the big bad, the acolytes all run off. And
kid wasn't done.
Yeah, the kid wanted to end it right there and then that day, but he didn't give him a chance to. So they all escape to our world, Earth, and in our world, these former acolytes are masquerading as superheroes.
Well, they laid low for a long time.
Okay.
And during that time, the kid grew up.
Mm-hmm. So he's grown up, and he still has some power, and he's got his old school uniform and everything, which, on Earth, the school uniform means nothing. It means it's a, fancy costume. So the guys he's going after, if they're masquerading as superheroes, then, that kind of makes him look like the villain.
Well, they're superheroes like the Punisher's a superhero.
Mm. So if he has to be the villain, then he says so be it. So Vanish #1, our #1 pick for this week, exciting new title from Image Comics, coming in at
4.5 shields after being rounded up.
4.5 out of 5. All right, so that is our picks for this week. Get them now at your local comic shop. So what's coming up this week, old man?
Good sized week and a lot of good stuff. All right, first up, Batman Fortress #5. You know I like the Batman Fortress storyline. From Out of the Past. My boy Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead. Woo!
All right.
The Nice House on the Lake is back.
Oh, really? Okay.
Issue #10. 8 Billion Genies #5.
All right.
And Thor #27.
All right.
So, some good stuff.
All right, get them at your local comic book shop now. Okay, so that takes care of comic books this week. Now, let's talk about what you can expect at EMoney and the Old Man sales this weekend. All right, so this weekend, first Saturday, is our pop-up comic shop. It's at 7002 Brookbend Way, Louisville, Kentucky. We're doing a change in hours for the rest of the season.
It's too cold.
Yeah, it gets pretty cold in the morning, so we're giving it a chance to warm up before we open up shop from now on. So our hours are going to be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the rest of the season, which is 4. We got 4 more shows, all in Saturdays in October. All right, so we're going to be doing that, and also we're going to be having our Whatnot auctions every Sunday, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. And at the end of October, the last weekend in October, we're going to have our first convention as dealers, EMoney and the Old Man. And we're going to be doing the Creature Feature Show in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And it's formerly Halloween Fest. You can go on their website, Halloween Fest Creature Feature on Facebook, and get more information. Here's the flyer right here. And it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of great local dealers are going to be there. And, hopefully we'll be able to, hold up to the competition, right?
We'll see.
All right, so be sure to come by there, and we're going to be, if you've ever been to our pop-up shop, you see all the inventory we have. Well, obviously, we're not going to have the space that we normally do in the garage, so...
We're not bringing any of the dollar comics or what we call the front line, the books that are under $10. We're just bringing the over $10 comics.
Right, $10 and up, and we're doing slabs?
Yeah, we'll bring the slabs.
They'll bring the slabs, okay.
And we're also going to have a crap load of toys.
Yeah, also going to have our toys. Okay, so with that being said, how about we give you guys a preview what to expect at this week's pop-up shop. All right, so first off, we have some comic books. Guys, we got all kinds of new comic books for this weekend.
There's no holy grails in here.
There's some cool stuff.
There's some cool stuff.
We just got 5 long boxes full of stuff this past, or 2 weeks ago. And, we still haven't been through it all.
Oh, no, I've only processed a little bit over 1 box.
Yeah, so that means we're going to have new stuff pretty much every week. So you got to keep coming back to see all the new stuff we got. All right, so give you guys some of the gems from our recent acquisitions here. All right, so...
Doing 3?
Do 2 at a time because I got, Marvel, DC, and something else. Okay, so first up, you got the Mighty Thor 245. This is the first appearance of He Who Remains, the creator of the Timekeepers. You guys remember that story from the first season of Loki on Disney Plus. So, probably a little different in the comic books, but still pretty cool. Then, this one I've basically got for nostalgic reasons. Because some of you may remember that the Old Man used to run a comic book shop in Clarksville back in the 90s.
Clarksville, Indiana.
Yeah, it was Comics America. And when I remember there was some kind of thing that the comic companies did with
the
comic
companies,
shops.
if you would put one of their characters on your sign, they would pay a good chunk of your cost of the sign.
Right, okay.
So we teamed up with Marvel.
And they used this cover for their storefront. The Captain America number 193, which is a cover by Jack Kirby. And this
Classic Jack Kirby.
So this was the front of the store for Comics America.
The sign on the road.
Right. Well, was it? I thought it was Superman on the side of the road.
No, Captain America on the sign.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that was their sign right there, and that's going to be available. So there's some stuff from Marvel that we have. Now I have some Star Wars stuff to share with you guys. So first we have Star Wars Canon number 12, and this is the first appearance of Admiral Ray Sloane and the Grand Inquisitor in comic books.
Well, I know who the Grand Inquisitor is, but I have no idea who the Admiral is.
All right. And then we have Star Wars Mace Windu Jedi of the Republic number 5. And this is the first cameo canon appearance of Ahsoka Tano. So, some cool key issues to have if you're a Star Wars collector. All right, so there's Star Wars, and we actually got quite a few Star Wars issues in. So
not a lot of key issues, but some filler stuff.
You know, you can browse our frontline issues if you come by Saturday. Then some stuff from DC. We have DC Showcase number 66, Silver Age comic. First appearance of Buona Beast.
Now, Buona Beast showed up every once. I think he was in one of the animated shows.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he hit on Wonder Woman in that one. Then you have Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 133, and this is the first intro into Jack Kirby's Fourth World, when he signed on with DC after leaving Marvel.
Which is Darkseid, Apocalypse, and all that stuff.
Right. And is also the first appearance of Morgan Edge. So we got all this stuff and a whole lot more. Like I said, we're still going through our new inventory, so new stuff every week. All right, so that is comic books. Now on to a few toys to show you guys. I got some Spider-Man figures to share with you guys. All right, so first up, you have Manga Spider-Man, who kind of odd-looking figure there, with wall crawling action. Then we have from the Spider Power line, Spider Sense Peter Parker. So you can see, his face is half Spider-Man.
Does he tingle?
I don't see any tingle there. With trash can attack action. Don't know why Spider-Man's attacking with the trash can, but there you go.
All hose barred. No hose barred.
And I have superposable Spider-Man with sticky web from the Spider-Man line right there. And a couple other Spider-Man figures that are going to be available on the table this Sunday. And, tons of other stuff too. Okay, so there are the stuff we have available on our sale this week. Now, we started a segment last week, and we told you guys that we have a couple boxes over here that contain merchandise that I can't find a price for. I looked up and down eBay, I looked on other parts of the internet, I can't find anything to price them on, which tells me that they're rare because I can't find them anywhere, but I also don't know how many people are looking for them.
Yeah, is it $20 rare or is it $500 rare?
Right. I mean, rare doesn't always mean valuable, as a good salesman will tell you. So I'm challenging you guys to help me find prices for these things. So
what he means then is, if you see some, send him a link to it.
Right. So this week I have another Hulk item for you. We were actually talking about this with a few guys like a week or two ago. This is the Incredible Hulk shower set. This is from 1990, and it has Incredible Hulk shampoo.
I don't want to know what that's like. Is your hair going to turn green?
And it has this Incredible Hulk shower head cover, where you put it on your shower head, and it looks like the water is shooting out of the Hulk's mouth.
That's what I need. I need to be spit on by the Hulk.
Right. So, and it's from 1990.
You said that.
Did I say that? Okay. All right.
Who made it?
It's just, I think it just says Marvel on it. Whoops. Yeah. 1990 Marvel Entertainment Group. So if you can find a price for this, I encourage you to drop me a link. Now, I have found places on websites where it appears, but I didn't see anywhere where it shows me a price and what it's worth. So that's my challenge to you guys. Find me a price on the Incredible Hulk shower set. All right, so that is all on our Saturday sale. Now on to our Whatnot sale. So our Whatnot auction is this Sunday. It's going to be at 6 p.m. You can download...
It's October the 2nd.
October the 2nd. You can download Whatnot on your phone if you haven't already, and you can search us. It's EMoney and the Old Man, no spaces, and you can be notified anytime we have auctions that pop up, although right now our auctions are 6 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, so you can just remember that. And this Sunday, we've had our best luck with auctions. These last two auctions have been our best auctions to date.
Miscellaneous.
Right. We just kind of say whatever. I mean, we tried doing themes in the early days, and we had some success. I mean, we sold stuff, but our two best auctions have been when we just said whatever and just put a bunch of stuff on there. So it's going to be mostly Marvel, some DC stuff, and I'm going to throw in a few random items here and there.
Rando.
Yeah. And, some days you guys really like those things. All right, so be sure to tune in this Sunday, 6 p.m., and find some great deals. We're, usually we're going to have stuff starting at $10 and, going up from there. And, going to be some great deals. All right, I think that covers about everything. Now,
let's go back to the garage. No.
Yeah, usually this is where I say let's head back into the garage, but I guess
rain up there, so
yeah, I guess that means we're done.
Yep, that's it.
All right, so join us for our sales this week. Be sure to follow my friends on Instagram, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, counting down 4 more pop-ups.
4 more.